All right, welcome back to Understanding the AI Revolution. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what really makes AI tick. And, it's a story that's probably not what you're expecting. It's less about shiny silicon and complex code, and way more about people.
Yeah, let's just start right there. This idea is huge because what we think of as this, brilliant, self-sufficient AI, it's actually built on a foundation of just massive human effort. The intelligence you see on your screen, it isn't born, it's taught.
So what is this hidden work? Well, it's this massive global workforce that most of us never see. They're the ones shaping the data that AI learns from. And honestly, if you really want to understand the AI revolution, you have to understand the human engine that's powering the whole thing.
Okay, so let's dive in and really break down what makes AI work. You can think of it like a recipe. And like any good recipe, right? Every single ingredient matters. But it turns out one of them is way more important than all the others.
So, according to Alex Wang, who's a founder right in the thick of the AI space, there are basically three core ingredients. Now, you've probably heard a ton about the first two: computational power, those super powerful computer chips, and the algorithms, that brilliant code. But it's that third ingredient, the data, that often gets forgotten. And that's wild because it's literally the fuel for the entire system.
In the process of preparing that fuel, it's called data annotation. Just think of it as how we humans teach machines to see and hear and actually understand the world. I mean, heck, every time you've clicked on a stop sign in one of those CAPTCHA things or tagged a friend in a photo online, you've basically done a tiny bit of this work yourself. But that's just the start. That raw data then gets refined by a whole army of human annotators.
And when I say an army, I'm not exaggerating. This isn't some niche little side hustle. This human-powered data work is a massive, massive global industry. We're talking over $4 billion, and it employs millions and millions of people. It's not a cottage industry, it's a foundational pillar of the modern economy we're living in.
So that's the big picture. But what's it actually like for the people on the inside? The ones on this global assembly line. What does it really mean to be the human ingredient in the AI recipe?
Well, the reality, it's often pretty grim. For a lot of these workers, the conditions and the incredibly low pay have led them to call these platforms digital sweatshops. And man, that's a world away from the sleek, futuristic image the AI industry likes to project.
Just take a look at the story of someone named Crystal Kaufman. She turned to data work on platforms like Amazon's Mechanical Turk because she couldn't leave her house and needed to make ends meet. But the pay? It was absolutely punishing. We're talking working all day and all night for as little as $10 a day. Just wow.
And look, her story is tough, but it's not unique at all. Annotators all over the world are facing this immense pressure to work super fast on these really repetitive tasks. Sometimes they're even exposed to violent or disturbing content with no warning. And on top of all that, they often have none of the job security or due process you'd expect from a regular job.
But here's where things get really interesting. As these AI models get smarter and more sophisticated, the kind of work humans are being asked to do is starting to change, and change dramatically. We're moving away from the simple stuff to something way more complex.
Okay, so what does that evolution actually look like? Well, the demand is shifting. It's moving beyond just drawing boxes around cars. Now, the real challenge, the valuable work, is teaching AI all the nuances of our human world. All the messy gray areas where simple rules and patterns just completely break down. And this right here, it shows that shift perfectly. Just look at the difference. The work has gone from really basic identification, like, is this a cat or a dog, to requiring sophisticated human judgment. Now workers are being asked to compare different AI responses, rate them for things like helpfulness and tone. They're essentially becoming editors and teachers for these powerful new models.
And the most crucial task now is for humans to find and label what are called edge cases. So what's an edge case? Think about it like this. A self-driving car sees a pedestrian. Easy. But what if that pedestrian is wearing a giant chicken suit and walking backward across the road? That is an edge case. It's a weird, unpredictable scenario that an AI has no idea how to handle without human help.
So you've got these new platforms like Scale AI's Outlier that are focused entirely on these complex tasks. The human contributors there are acting way more like teachers and editors. They're rating AI responses on everything from whether it's factually accurate to whether the tone is appropriate to even identifying really subtle biases that the model might have picked up.
And all of this leads us to this really profound, kind of unsettling paradox right at the heart of the AI industry. By doing this new, more complex work, are humans just training their own replacements? Are they accelerating their own obsolescence?
I mean, think about it. Every single time a human worker corrects a model's mistake, it's basically a lesson that helps that model get better and more autonomous. So the very work that's providing an income for someone today might be the exact thing that eliminates the need for that work tomorrow. You know, Fei Li, who's often called a godmother of AI, had this perfect analogy. She compared these annotators to parents who are teaching their AI children to see the world. And that just nails the dynamic, right? Humans are nurturing this new intelligence, teaching it, guiding it. But just like any child, this AI is eventually going to grow up, and it might not need its parents for these same tasks anymore.
And maybe the most telling, most striking detail of all is this one. A lot of the people on the front lines, the ones who see exactly how the sausage is made, they're incredibly cautious. They know how these models are really built, and many of them actually advise their own friends and family to be wary of the very technology they are helping to create. Let that sink in.
So where does that leave us? As we wrap up, it really boils down to this huge, critical question. As we keep building these incredibly powerful systems, what do we owe the people who are laying the foundation, brick by painstaking brick? What does a fair partnership actually look like for both us humans and the artificial intelligence we're bringing into the world?